Hello everybody, welcome back to Aurora 4X. Today we are going to start a new campaign. In the game version, this is Aurora C Sharp 1.11, and I had previously been streaming the game, I think it was in version 1.9, and one of the main features that I was hoping to use wasn't quite working properly, and that was being able to overhaul in deep space stations, which I think really opens up the game in some interesting ways, at least in the kind of campaigns that I'm hoping to play. So we're going to start a new campaign. This one, now, I have a few different kind of role-playing themes that I like to do in these campaigns. The previous one I'd done was my Directorate campaign, which is sort of like a bit of a post-apocalyptic Earth, sort of very paranoid version of a future Earth where we're afraid of aliens and just kind of very slowly expanding throughout the galaxy, which is interesting. And I tried a campaign in 1.11 with that, and it was a lot of fun. I don't want to be too hampered. I tried some really challenging logistics in that campaign, or just ways of deploying into the galaxy, which were fun from a storytelling point of view, but a little too micro-intensive for my taste. So we're going to do something slightly different. I think thematically, we're going to go for a sort of corporate future where, so let me just give a name for this game. We'll call it EarthCorp 1.11 Let's Play. And let's start this game up. So, we're not going to do known star systems. That's because I would like to have some nebula, maybe. And we are going to allow the invaders. There's a new Aether Rift thing happening with 1.11, which would be cool to try out. And we'll customize most of the start in Space Master mode at the beginning. But let's just start in 2050, just for role-playing purposes. And this is good enough to start. We're not going to change any of these default settings right now. So the theme that we're going to go for is like a future corporation, which I tend to call the EarthCorp. Short name will be EC. Now, in terms of naming conventions, we're going to change this in a minute. Let's just start with English. And then the rank themes, we are going to change the rank, so it doesn't really matter. Let's just do whatever. We're going to rename our ship classes anyways, but, you know, as a default, we could go for, we'll just do this all as default. And system themes, you know, one that I found has been, I like to have like a different set of themes each time I play, just otherwise it gets kind of repetitive. So I think we'll go for Galactic Empire, which is Star Wars inspired, but this will give a set of names to the different to the different star systems that we explore. Anyways, this is good for now. These are actually not terrible sort of default human-like station icons for the ships and the stations. So I like that. Let's change our flag though. Let's go for something. So we're kind of like a global corporation. So let's see if we can find something that looks a little corporate, rather than, you know, political. This, we could do that. This is actually not terrible. There's a kind of sciencey feel to that. Oh, this is not bad. You know, sort of like a generic corporate logo, but like a corporation that becomes political, right, in the sense that it does rule the planet, but it would have had to start as a company logo. This is not bad. A lot of Roman-inspired flags here. This one's not bad. This could have been like a... Although I'm not... The color scheme is a little stark. I'm going to look at something. I think I'm going to pick a different one. I think we're going to go for this one. this kind of has a sort of techno-sciencey corporate feel to it. Okay, this we're gonna edit in the future. Now we are going to, this is gonna be a TN start. We're gonna kind of jump right into things. And I'll explain sort of the, how we're gonna play this. I am gonna start with the GeoSurvey complete. And we'll kind of assign the rest. We'll fix the rest we'll fix it in post, as they say in the movie industry. No, we'll fix it with a Space Master mode. Okay, so let's get into the start here. So, what we are going to do, a few things first. We're going to go and change the naming themes just to give a sort of more international feel to things. So first of all, we're going to edit the weight of this, make it about 10%. And then we're going to add a bunch of other languages here. All right, here we go. Arabic, Chinese, got French, German, Japanese. Let's get some Persian, Spanish, I don't know, Zulu, and Indian. All right, just to get a random sampling. Okay, and now let's go to our leaders and rename all the leaders so that we have a nice global representation. Okay, now we're going to change the names of our ranks so that they're more thematically appropriate. So let's rename these. We're going to do like junior associate. We'll do a senior associate. Oh, I accidentally hit enter there. Then we'll do a partner. We'll do a senior partner. Then I think we'll do an executive. We'll do like a chief executive. And I think on top we could have maybe like, I don't know, like a president or chairman. What would be more appropriate? Chief executive, like I'm thinking like a board type structure. So you have a chief executive, maybe there's a, I don't know, let's say there's a president, and we could say there could be a chairman. All right. I don't mind keeping the ground forces as they are, with majors and colonels and whatever, that's fine. Okay, let's take a, before we go anywhere, let's take a quick look at our civilian administrators and just assign somebody that makes sense on Earth with production. Yeah, this is going to be fine, so you can run the Earth right now. Okay, and automated assignments. All right, so that is taken care of for now. Let's do our starting tech. Now we're supposed to use about 80,000. We might go a little bit over, but that's roughly what we're going to go for. The main things we're going to start with, actually, let's just turn on Space Master mode now because we're settling all this. So the starting point for this is we've already basically explored the solar system. We've done the geosurvey, and we're kind of ready to start doing the graph survey and getting out of the solar system. Also, we're going to, we're going to be colonizing the solar system. We're at that phase in the game. So what we're going to do is we're going to make sure we have appropriate engine technology already researched, which I think might be, first of all, let's get the appropriate jump tech, which will have been, like this would have been the latest thing we'd have researched. And you'll see in terms of the ship designs what we're going to do in a moment. Okay, now what jump tech we're going to go for? I think we'll go for NPE at least. Maybe, I don't know if we do improved NPE. Let's just stick with NPE engines for now. Not to give ourselves, too advanced to start. So we'll have NPE engines to start with. And we'll have, obviously, we have geo and grav surveys. I think we'd have just the most basic sensor tech, because we're going to have sort of passive sensors on some of these ships. Okay, in terms of logistics, let's just get some fuel tanks that make sense. We're going to be thinking about stations, so I think we might have the tech needed to make a tug. And we'll come back to this if we need to. We will have the ability to move troops around. Let's get slightly better armor here. We could do composite armor. And then let's just do a bit of basic mining, research, shipyard, stuff like this. Okay, this is a good start. Now let's get a few things. Let's do some modules. So we're gonna need, let's get a basic passive EM. I'm gonna do a size 1 and a size 0.01 for EM and also for thermals. Size 1, size 0.01. And then we're gonna need some engines. So we're gonna have one very fuel efficient max size commercial engine. And we're going to have one that is 500 tons. And then we're going to have a jump drive, which is going to be for a 2,500 ton ship. Okay, I think those are all the components that we need. Let's start putting together some of these initial vessels. So we will have, let's make this a wide view like this. All right, so first let's get a cargo ship. So let's rename this to, I don't know, we'll call it the, I'm thinking like a city name here. I don't know why I thought of that, but that's what it's going to be, because it started with a C. All right, so we're going to need a, let's refresh the tech here, make sure we have everything. All right, let's just put a passive thermal. I'm going to try to remember to put passive thermals and EMs on everything, if we can. We're going to take 5 cargo shuttle bays, 5 of these engines, and we have 1 large fuel. That's good enough. We need the actual cargo. I was like, why is this ship so small? Because we forgot the cargo hold. Conscript. And I think that's all we need. Now let's copy this and make a colony ship. Let's rename this as so, and then take the cargo hold off. We'll put cryogenic transports. 10 of these. Good. Okay, let's get another class. This will be a small troop transport. We'll call it Let's give it the appropriate designation here, troop transport. This will be the Overwatch. So just a large troop transport, one big engine, and oh, I was on 5 here, the multiplier for the parts, which is not what we want. One big engine, as many, cargo shuttle bases we can fit. We're going to make this a 10,000 ton model. Let's get a passive sensors in here. Okay, good enough. Let's do... oh, I don't have... Do I have a refueling? Yeah, we don't need actual tankers right now. Maybe that'll be something we design in a moment. Oh, let's get a tug. We can call this the, I don't know, the Hercules. So one tractor beam. We're going to need a lot of fuel here, so we'll make it like maybe about 3 million liters or 2.5 million liters. That should be enough. And then let's put a pile of engines on it. This will be about 60,000 tons is the plan. Not quite. Okay, now, I think for now, in terms of commercial ships, this is all we need. Let's make our actual survey ship. So let's rename this this is going to be like a combination geo and survey ship. So I don't know, explorer, surveyor, prospector. Magellan? No, we'll be a good, like, I don't want it to be too on the nose. How about the Intrepid? Survey ship. Oh, I called it survey frigate, but I meant survey ship. Okay, now here's how we're going to build this. We don't have a lot of room, so we're going to make tiny passive thermals and EMs. We're going to have one of these small engines. We're going to have one of these jump drive. Oh, not luxury passenger accommodation. One grav, one geo. Now the deployment time is going to be about 10 years. We are going to get enough engineering and maintenance to really extend that. And then we're just going to redo the fuel. So instead of having one large, because if the large fuel tank breaks, then we're kind of screwed. So let's just have like this, and then small and 2 fighters. Okay, so the idea here is, so this, I don't want to have to micromanage the overhaul on these ships too much. So as it stands, it can operate for about 20 years without needing maintenance on average. And it's got plenty of fuel. Now, of course, not half the time, but a certain fraction of the time the ship is not moving because it's stationary and doing the geo survey. So this is more than these days in terms of operating days. But I've on purpose left the deployment time to 10 years because this will remind me in the event log that the deployment time has been exceeded, so I can go in and overhaul the ship before we run into any maintenance issues. And I don't want to end up with like a ship with a stranded, 10 jumps away from Seoul. Okay, so that's the Intrepid class survey ship. Now let's go and modify our shipyards accordingly. So we don't need, we're only going to have the one, not delete activity, delete shipyard. We're only going to have the one naval shipyard, which will be 2,500 tons. Oh, wait, before we do that, let's actually just create some of these ships. So we'll have one colony ship, one cargo ship. Let's have 2 survey ships, one of these, and 1 tug. Now we can go back to our shipyards here. So let's queue up retool this for the Intrepid. Let's queue up 2 more of these, and then we're going to have Space Master modifications. So this will be the cargo ship slash colony ship shipyard. It's going to be building more freighters. And then this commercial shipyard, let's change it. We're going to have 1, which is going to be for our tugs. 60,000, 1 slipway. Retool for the Hercules. And then we're going to add a commercial shipyard for our troop transports. Going to create more of these. Later we're going to add more shipyard space later, but we're starting with a pretty low amount of shipyards. Okay. All right, so ships and shipyards are done. Let's quickly go to the and wrap up our ground troops. So we just need to create a basic ground garrison. So we need to create a few things here. So first we need some headquarters. I like to work in 5,000 ton units. So this will be 5K HQ infantry. We're still kind of space mastering these things. Okay, let's also have like a very basic. Oh no, wait, let's do the logistics first. So this will be logistics. Let's do logistics small. Okay. Now let's do a sort of ground infantry. Let's do a light vehicle anti-aircraft. Let's do a medium vehicle. Let's say we'll give it medium armor, anti-tank with crew AP. So let's do this anti-tank, crew AP, medium vehicle. Okay. And now we can do a colony garrison. And let's give it 2 HQ units. Let's do 10 of these, 10 of these. I think 2 of these, and then the rest is going to be ground infantry. I think like 750. Yeah, that's close. We need 160 more, which is there. Okay, so that's our colony garrison. Now we can let's just queue up the training. We don't need to have them pre-built. We can just start building these. So let's just queue these up. Gonna need a bunch. Okay, that's mostly it for the units. We did research. Now let's set up the colony itself. So there's a few things we can delete and a few things we'll add. So we're not going to have any automated mines. Let's just go with 500 construction facilities and 500 mines sort of instead. No fighter factories. No, doesn't really make sense for us to have built these. No ordnance factories either. I'm actually going to start with some small colonies. So we're not going to have any infrastructure on Earth itself. We'll assume that has already been deployed. So the rest here is fine. Okay, all this is fine. So let's actually go and set up those colonies right away. Actually, let's see. We've done the mineral survey, so let's take a quick look here. So Mercury has a bunch of boronite. Okay, interesting. Venus has the potential for ground survey, but honestly not super exciting as of yet. Earth, let's see, not a lot of duranium. Fortunately, good corundium and galisite, which is often a problem, and decent boronite. Sorium is not doing great. Mars has a lot of galisite and uridium. Interesting. Okay, so definitely worth mining Mars. Jupiter, nice. 0.7 is not amazing, but we can definitely work with that, and there's like an endless supply. So definitely we're going to do sorium harvesters here. So the limited sorium on Earth is not too much of an issue. It looks like 2 of the Jovian moons have, yeah, some not terrible. I mean, it's pretty low accessibility, but look, it'll give the people there something to do. How about Saturn? Okay, there's something there. A bit of minerals here. How about Uranus? Some sorium. This accessibility is better, but the total amount isn't as high. Miranda, nothing there. Okay, Neptune. Pretty low accessibility. Okay, and that's it. And then the comets. So we actually don't have fantastic duranium deposits. So that is going to be something, I mean, unless we get lucky on the geosurvey in Mars. Not a lot of duranium, so we're going to definitely have to do orbital mining on the comets. Let's actually take a quick look in the view here and just look for duranium. Yeah. We've got some of these really far out comets that have some duranium. It's gonna have to be orbital mining from comets for sure. You know, it's a little too bad because one thing I kind of wanted to do, I had a notion of having like, if we had a planet like Mars, let's say, that had some duranium deposits and nothing else, I would like to kind of set up a colony which mines duranium and produces infrastructure, and then kind of slowly, passively just seed every possible colonizable, and also maybe low gravity infrastructure. Although that takes boronite. Interesting, interesting. Uranium or calcium. This takes uranium or calcium and boronite. Do we have a colony that kind of does that? That has that? Uranium or calcium and boronite. And it's mainly boronite. Well, our Earth obviously does. Not quite. That's too bad. We'll have to think about that in the future. Anyways, for now, this kind of tells me in terms of priorities that we're going to have to be making fuel harvesting stations. We're going to have to be making orbital miners for the comets. So let's set up our colonies here. I think we're going to start with some small colonies on the Moon, on Mars, and on Mercury. So let's do that right now. Create a colony. Create a colony. Create a colony. And let's go here and just put like a bit of infrastructure on all of these. Just 1,000. And then we can just set the population here to like, I don't know, 1 million. Let's have 3 million. Oh, no. I put 300 million. What I wanted was 3 million. My bad. Okay, so that should show up now. Okay, we've got these small populations. Okay, a little bit more micro setup. So let's, we're not going to use this fleet. We're not going to use that. We're going to rename these. Actually, no, we can do this. We're going to do, so colony ship, cargo ship. We're not going to use the battle fleet right now. And what we're going to do is we're going to create some commands. So let's do logistics command, survey command, industry command. That's all we need for now. So logistics, survey, industry. Let's put the cargo fleet and the colony fleet in logistics, as well as the troop transports. And let's put the surveyors. Oop. Where'd my ship go? I clicked to give it a name and then canceled and it deleted the ship. That might be a bug. Interesting. All right, no worries. That was strange. Okay, let's just set these on the appropriate orders. Okay, the tug will, for now, it'll go in industry, just because that's what it's going to do later. SS troops. Oh, there's my Intrepid. Okay, I gave myself an extra survey ship for no reason. That is so weird. Okay. That's what I must have just clicked accidentally. Alright, it's fine. We can have an extra survey ship. No. Just the Intrepid 02. So misclick there early on, but no worries. And like such. Okay, so we've set up our ship commands. Now let's give ourselves some administrators. So we will do Navy admin commands. So let's do for logistics. We'll have the senior partner here onto logistics. And then survey. Junior partner is a bit too low rank, but an executive could do it. And then we'll do mining for the industry. Senior partner, Julie Barrier. Good. Okay, well, let's turn off Space Master before we forget. So I think that the last thing we'll do is we'll start with like maybe a couple of orbital stations. So now that we've seen the situation here, I think we do want to have some gas mining and maybe some actual mineral orbital platforms. So let's start with that. Let's make sure let's give ourselves a thorium harvester technology. Actually, that's in construction. Let's do that. And also, I think the orbital mining module. Oh, we have to Space Master again for that. And let's design those real quick. So it would be a thorium harvester, fuel harvesting base, no armor, thorium harvester. Let's go for stations that are going to be about 1 million tons, just as a rough size estimate. So 400 thorium harvesters. We're going to, so if we're going to produce 16,000 liters per year, let's have 40,000 liters of capacity, and let's get a refueling system there. And I basically empty these with tankers. We're not going to have ships directly refuel from them. Now we do have to set this as a tanker, and in miscellaneous here we want to turn this way down because we actually want it to be emptied when fleets come to empty them. So let's have one of these produced, and we'll bring it out with a tug. Oh shit, I called it the we need to rename this. It should not be the Discovery class. It should be the, let's call it the Orca. So we actually have incorrectly named ship here. Let's see if we can fix that. Oh, I know. I could fix it here. Ships and class. Rename all. Orca 2. Good. Excellent. Okay. And let's... well, I don't need to detach it. The tug will take care of that. In fact, let's make that order... Well, let's create the other orbital mining station. So let's do this. Another no armor. This will be an orbital mining platform. No fuel on this one. $200 orbital mining modules, and this one we'll call, I don't know, excavator. All right. So now, oh, and I forgot to actually build one, but let's have it built. Excavator, miscellaneous, let's just have one built. Which uses up our build points quite nicely. Now let's have the tug do, so tractor the Orca to Jupiter. And let's remember let's take a look at what would be the best place to go mine. This is not bad because you want something that's going to give you, that has a high total accessibility of minerals. So 2006 QH. This is really far though, which is an issue. Wolf Harrington is much closer. So just in terms of like roleplay, that makes a lot more sense. So let's do Wolf Harrington. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick a few of these comets as places where we are going to set up our own mines. It'll be Wolf Harrington, Temple. Jeez, there really isn't much. Well, no, that's not true. Okay, Wolf Harrington, Temple. Let's see. Rainmouth. So I'm looking for, bodies that have decent amount of duranium and also decent amount of something else. This is not a terrible one because solid thorium is nice to have for creating... like, we're going to have a ton of fuel from the gas giants, but you need solid thorium to build things sometimes, so I don't mind that at all. Bit more corundium and bornite, maybe. Sure. Okay, so I don't mind if the civilian, if like the private sector, I mean, we're a corporation, so we are the private sector, but we've become the public sector. But if a private sector wants to go set up auto mines on these really, really far out colonies, like here, 2000, for example, 2006 QH181 is here. Okay. It is very far away. And it doesn't really make sense to me that we would set up shop on that comet so early on in the game. So let's just check where exactly we would send that first miner. I think it's going to be, let's see, Raymouth is a possibility. Temple is not bad. Wolf Harrington. We're going to go to Wolf Harrington. So the tug is going to do that. Then it's going to come back to Earth, refuel. And then we are going to go back to the shipyard. Tractor. And go to Wolf Harrington. Release. Go back to Earth, refuel. Okay. That is pretty much it for the setup of this game. So, we've done about 45 minutes of just microing and setting up just the gameplay elements. Let me finish off by talking about the sort of philosophy for our campaign here. So we are by the year 2050 or probably before that, the survivors of whatever calamity has befallen the Earth, which I assume to be some combination of devastating climate change, wrecking the food supply, possibly leading to some wars, just total industrial and economic collapse. However, in the wake of that, some new discoveries in trans-Newtonian physics were developed by an individual who decided to keep that information private and to make a profit off of it as opposed to share it with the rest of the world, which leads to that corporation developing not only amazing, almost unlimited free energy with this amazing material called thorium, so alleviating the need for all the dirty fossil fuels and super expensive, fusion or nuclear energy, things like that. The unbelievable lightweight but durable duranium allows a revolution in construction methods, hydroponic farming, like all these things are possible to now relaunch the economy, but everything has to be licensed through this corporation, which basically leads it to gradually, over the course of a couple of decades, gain effective control over the entire economy of the Earth. And now it is leading the foray into space. So already it has launched some ships into the solar system. We've surveyed the entire system, and we are now aware of the possibility of exploring neighboring systems, which is what we're going to get into. We've set up some small colonies in the inner solar system, and I think the philosophy here for this campaign is just going to be like, what would be the best way to describe this? Like all-consuming expansion. Like we want to colonize everything we can colonize. We want to mine everything we can mine. So it's going to be orbital mining stations, colonies everywhere. I don't want to just limit myself to, going out scouting and surveying and finding the best possible planet and only making colonies there. I want to colonize everything and make something out of everything. So if I have a bad solar system that only has a few colonies, with bad mineral accessibility, doesn't matter. We're going to colonize it, and we're going to try to make something happen out of that system. So that's going to be sort of the way we're going to approach this. Anyways, we'll see how things go. We'll get things started next time. See you guys then. Take care.